ahead and hello, 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 women of wild growth. I'm Bridget Brooks, your friendly ads boss. This is our Thursday training, and I am so excited to introduce Alexis for our training today. She is with Restoration Health and Wellness, and she is going to be talking to us about decoding. Now, break this down for me, Alexis. It's decoding your food allergies.
It's it is, and the method that I've coined that I use to do it is called FoodClues. So
I
that's what I'm
love
doing.
it. I love it. Well, without further ado, first off, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom and sharing your knowledge with our membership today. I am so excited about that. And take it away.
Oh yeah, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I love these opportunities to, especially talk to ladies, talk to women groups because that is the type of person that, well, number one, I'm a woman. It's the number one type of client that I love working with. I'm sure there's lots of highly like busy, ambitious like women. We have dreams. We're trying to do all the things, and sometimes there are things holding us back from accomplishing that. A lot of times, those things can be food related. I talk to tons of women who want to eat healthier because they realize a healthy body makes a healthy mind, which makes a healthy lifestyle. I can be a better mom, a better wife or partner, a better business person. And this one aspect of my life holds me back from kind of the domino effect that, keeps me from being able to live the life that I want in other ways. So, super long story short, during the pandemic, I worked originally in general outpatient physical therapy. My license is in physical therapy. And the pandemic kind of shifted things, and I started helping people with their immune support. People want to boost their immune system, stay safe, not get sick. And that just kind of transitioned over time into me really diving into my functional medicine specialty. And then my clients started telling me that within the realm of working on other things, their food allergies and intolerances were dwindling down. They were going away. They were able to eat and tolerate more things that they weren't able to in the past. So fast forward to today, that's just been a new mission that I've given to myself to present the type of work that I do to the food allergy and intolerance community. Now that I recognize sometimes it can seem like a little thing, but it can also be a big thing in terms of how it impacts your life. So, what are food clues? It's the number one question that I get. And basically, it's my philosophy. And the philosophy of food clues is that every food you avoid is a clue to your health. It's a clue to your living your best life. And so what I do is I look at the foods that you avoid and why you avoid them. And I take that information and I combine it with the nutritional characteristics of those foods. And those are the top two things that give me the clues, how your body reacts to them, plus what's the nutritional value and the nutritional characteristics. That helps me to narrow down and pinpoint the areas of your body that might be struggling and need help. And then I guide you through a like a treatment journey, a framework to help you overcome those things. And in turn, two things usually happen. One, your food allergies and intolerances, they either dwindle down or they fully resolve. But moreover, it gives you the opportunity to live life more on your own terms, to have more energy, be able to go more places without the fear of reactions, to be able to just tolerate more food so that you can have a healthier lifestyle. For those, I have tons of people who tell me, they believe that food is medicine, but what if the food that's supposed to be medicine is something that I'm allergic to? That's that's an honest, conundrum of sorts. So what I'm really passionate about is using this opportunity, using this aspect of your health as a gateway to just living the best life possible, to be able to do just anything that you feel like your life is limited by in terms of what you can and can't eat, where you can and can't go because there may be exposures. So that's essentially what I do. And moreover, I think that it falls under the umbrella of just empowering women to have a more just empowered world, just to help just impact on a more global scale. When we individually feel better as people, we can go out and be more effective and more impactful to the ones around us, the ones we care about and the ones that we want to help. So that's essentially what I do, and I love it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's really like break down the food clues, right? Um, because that is something that's really just your method and that you've created. So break it all down for me. Tell me like what is something that would be considered like a food clue? Obviously like an allergy, but maybe something else like our gut health is a food clue or um if it makes us sleepy. And then also like through this process, what do you see that women come to you the most with that you're able to guide them through?
Sure. So the easiest way would probably be to actually use a food. So that's what we'll do. I'll use one of the easiest ones that I talk through is mushrooms. And I know that that's not necessarily that it's not like a top 14 food allergen, but it's a very practical example to be able to guide you through the food clues process. So that's what I'm going to use. There are people who are allergic to mushrooms, and then there are also people who they don't have a diagnosed like allergy or maybe not a diagnosed intolerance, but they just know that they don't like them. That's a clue in itself. Any type of avoidance, whether it gives a more intense or significant reaction or response, or avoidance that gives a more minor response and you know that you just don't like it, that still kind of fits on an avoidance spectrum. And to me, anything along that spectrum sets off my antenna, gives me a clue. So we're avoiding mushrooms. There's two characteristics about mushrooms. One, most of us know that mushrooms are part of the fungi family. So sometimes avoidance of mushrooms in a certain way gives me a clue that there might be too much of a fungal buildup in somebody's system. And then I start looking for other clues, other symptoms that somebody might be demonstrating that can help me red light, green light in terms of is there more symptoms or more support that there is a fungal issue that needs to be resolved? Or is there another characteristic about the mushroom that I need to be looking into? So somebody who avoids mushrooms plus history of yeast infections, yeast is within the fungal family, um, allergy to penicillin. Penicillin is made of mold spores and mold is fungal based. Um, Also doesn't like blue cheese. The blue in blue cheese is moldy, so that's fungal based. History of like a oral thrush or candida, things that are associated with increased fungal buildup. So those types of clues in somebody's history, plus they don't like mushrooms, gives me two powerful clues that something in the fungus family or too much of a fungus in the body might be the underlying factor driving everything that's kind of going on. The other big food clue with the mushrooms is that mushrooms actually have a really good source of vitamin D. So avoidance of something that's good in vitamin D or has a higher value of vitamin D gives me a clue that there may be something going on in liver or kidney. Why? Because that is actually where vitamin D is processed and converted in those two areas, in those two major organs before our body can even use them. So inherently, if our body is avoiding a food that gives us part of the component that our body needs to make vitamin D, it's letting me know there may be a problem with making vitamin D. Now, it's perfectly possible that somebody can have problems with both, and most often they usually do. But that's kind of the essence of food clues, using the food that they avoid, knowing the characteristics of those foods, high in vitamin D, also part of the fungal family, looking at other signs and symptoms in your body, um, yeast infections, candida, let's see, menstrual symptoms, things like that. So I'm using those three components to kind of narrow down what might be the underlying factors holding your body back. And then I guide the body through a cleaning process to kind of clean all that up. And then how do we know that it works? Usually the foods that you avoid, you're at least able to tolerate them a little bit better. So going back to mushrooms, there are people who in the beginning, like they don't even like the smell or like even the thought of it makes their skin crawl. And towards the end, usually they can tolerate a smell. They can, one of my clients I talk about her on my website. Peyton, she actually did have a mushroom intolerance. And now she messaged me like a couple months ago and she was like, I had mushroom risotto and it was like amazing. And that's something that she never would have even touched with a 10-foot pole in the past. So that's kind of like a classic example of how FoodClues works. But again, moreover, you asked about how it can tie to other conditions or other things that women come to help with me for. The number one thing has to do with hormone balance, which also ties into gut health. So those same food clues gives me an idea of where in the gut or what particular hormones the body might be dealing with. And through their journey with me, we're able to not only help them tolerate those foods in case of like an accidental exposure, or even if they wanted to get back to eating it, but we can also tackle some of those other conditions or issues. And both of them can help them get them on their way to living a more freer life or living their best life or achieving some goals that they felt like they couldn't because these things have been holding them back.
I love that. I love that so much. And it actually leads me right into our next question. And our next question was going to be, what is it like that people can expect to accomplish after they work with you? And you touched on that just briefly, but I'd really like for you to go and dive further into that. Like, what's really in it for them by working side by side with you on these food allergy issues?
Sure. Overall, I really do think it's just like a freer life. It's been more of an eye-opening experience for me as well, like working with these women over the years, because just the little thing of, I'm thinking about my client Rhonda right now. Like she loves socializing. She lives in the Phoenix area, so it's always warm all the time. And her husband always likes grilling and bringing people over and like cookouts and stuff like that. And she's always, or she did, she always kind of had to be a little careful because she would react to melons and she would react to avocado. So like somebody inevitably would always bring guacamole, and somebody would always bring like a fruit thing with like watermelon and cantaloupe and like all this stuff, and she would always have to kind of be extra careful. And then that also transpired to like if she went to somebody's house, and like I said, they were a very like social couple. So for her to go through the process and for her to just feel like I don't have to worry anymore when I go to somebody's house if I'm gonna like bump up against somebody's hand and they're holding watermelon or cantaloupe, or if a little piece of guacamole or avocado from a salad gets on my plate. She's like, I just don't have to like worry about that. I don't have to like freak out about those
Yeah.
things anymore.
What a beautiful example of freedom with it, right? Like that is such a perfect example of having the freedom with this.
With this. The other major thing that we've been able to achieve working with clients is getting them off of certain medications. The top two medications are hormone replacement and thyroid meds. I would say third would probably be blood pressure medications. But again, to not just like the financial cost, because I have had clients say like, yeah, now I don't have to pay for, a monthly supply anymore, but just the fact that they just don't have to take those medications anymore. We were able to like very, very slowly, but very consistently, like fully wean them off. Just that alone. Now I'm thinking about my client, Mary. She just loves the fact that she always felt and wanted to be like free of prescriptions and wanted to just like live a healthier life. And two things were limiting her. One, she always felt like she had to be on thyroid medication all her life. And two, she had so many like food reactions. Like there were so many vegetables and fruits and fresh things that she wanted to eat. She felt like she couldn't even get like a healthy diet in because she was reacting to everything. And we were able to resolve both of those. Side note, it was because of an underlying mold infection. So, two things when you were talking about, the benefits. One, she was able to achieve more of that healthy lifestyle that she was looking for. Two, she was able to socialize, go out more, go out to dinner with her friends more, be more active. And three, we were able to work with her physician and get her fully off of her thyroid medication without, obviously, while keeping her thyroid function nice and healthy. So, yeah, it's like the more and more I work with people, the more I just appreciate more and more. Um, Again, what sometimes can be a little thing, but can have such a big impact. So lowering the need for medication, um,
Yeah.
being able to travel more, and things like that.
And it's funny how so much of it, like one little thing is linked to everything else in the body, right? One little piece of food you consume will affect everything in your body. I think it's so fascinating. So we have just a few minutes left. Share with us any programs that you're offering, any offers you have right now, and any ways that our audience and our membership can get a hold of you.
Sure. So the first thing that I always say is, when people hear me talk, they love what I have to say. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming, and I totally get that. So I always say, if you're just wanting to take like one step, just to get started, to dip that toe in and start figuring out your food clues, I actually created a quiz to help you with that. So if you go to myfoodclues.com/quiz, you can get your first food clue and first bit of information to start putting those puzzle pieces together for free, totally free. After that, I do offer free consultations to anybody who has questions, wants to get a little bit more information about what food clues are, how it might apply to them, and more information about how my programs work. Um, that can come, or that you can find that at myfoodclues.com/audit. And I know that these are probably going to be like linked below, so or linked in comments.
Yeah.
That
We'll have you I should have this video up by where are we at? It's Thursday.
I know, right? Time
Um, so I
fast.
should have this video up by tomorrow afternoon, and I'll just tag you in it when I get it up, and then you can drop all your links for everybody.
Sounds good. But basically, what I would say is anybody who's interested in learning more, take that first step and go ahead and take the quiz.
I love
Definitely.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Such interesting information that you shared with us today. I am so fascinated with just how every little finite piece works. I love that you're able to help people remove pharmaceuticals from their daily regimen through this. I mean, that's huge. I know that's something that I look at daily in my life. How can I release the toxins? How can I remove the toxins? How can I remove the bad and only consume the good? So I love hearing that. And I just wanted to thank you again for coming on and sharing your knowledge with Wild Growth for Women.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.